Here we are, another episode of On the D-Lo. This is going to be the last episode of the year, folks. I thought I would just crank one out real quick for 2024 year end. And this is episode 147. Yes, we've done this 147 times, and I've got big plans for next year to do a bunch of others. I've got a lot of cool ideas, and we're going to have some fun, some educational stuff, some just fun stuff, some stuff with Jeremy Scott and I as far as the Built Different Mastermind, which we are continuing to launch other products out of it, which we will have next year in process of being built. So pretty excited about that. And check this out. If you're on video, I've got me a D-Lo box that my dad gave me. It's the D-Lo Crest. That's right. And inside of this box, drum roll, if you look inside this wonderful box, I've got D-Lo glasses, right? D-Lo glasses. And I've got a D-Lo coasters. That's right. So we're going to be sharing this with guests. I'm probably going to put Magic Mind in here because I don't drink. And we're going to have D-Lo shots of Magic Mind. That's right. It is the drink of entrepreneurs. At least I have labeled that. Probably for hippies and everybody else because it's got all sorts of mushrooms and healthy stuff. It makes me feel good. All right. Well, let's talk about final thoughts for 2024. Can you believe it? Another year has gone by. So I'll talk about a little bit of my stuff, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the world stuff that has happened too that might, be of interest or of remembrance or, whatever. But let's just talk about how in, my wife and I, we did a whole podcast on a tiny home. And come January of last year, we decided to sell the tiny home. So we went through this whole thing of putting it up with a real estate agent and thinking that, things change and we want to do something else. And we ended up buying land in Payson. And guess what we ended up doing? We ended up keeping the tiny home. We said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. And so during the summer, we went up there, we hung out in the tiny home, and we loved it. And now, towards the end of this year, we're building on to the tiny home. So how cool is that? Like, we just pivoted. And I think the big thing, even at 50, which I turned 50 this year, which was my February big moment, I think at 50, it's okay to understand that you can pivot. You still have a lot of life left. You have a lot of life left no matter what. As long as you're living every day, in my opinion, to the fullest and have an understanding and a passion to wake up and do things, you can always pivot. And so we pivoted. Glad that we did. Glad that we tried it. Again, I'm a huge advocate of trying things. And so I'm glad that I tried it and that we liked it and we loved it. It was so cozy. The dogs had fun. We got to watch cows. We got to walk around in this big oasis of tiny homes every morning, enjoy our coffee out on the patio, watch the sunrises, the sunsets, all that sort of stuff. So it was a very, very good moment. So cheers to the tiny home and onward with the tiny home. That was fun. I did a whole bunch of Connect and Protects. So Connect and Protect is my podcast series that I ended up doing with a whole bunch of different people. I had TJ on from Ox. I had Dala on from House of Form, Eric from NPS. I had a lot of great people on, Josh from Gotcha. So I plan on doing some more of those in the future, which will be great. Side note, there was a 7.6 earthquake in Japan. That's right. It was kind of scary. And let me grab my effects here. Let's see here. Well, there's really nothing that goes with that except maybe space. So big earthquake in Japan in January of last year. So let's hope that does not happen again. Also, after 24 seasons, Bill Belichick left the New England Patriots. That's kind of a big deal. 24 seasons. That's 24 years of the same company. And not just company, that's like an NFL team. I mean, how crazy is that, right? So that happened as well. And then in February, we also had the first sighting and sexual encounter between whales. That is correct. Whales had sex. And, good for them. I think they deserve to have sex. Obviously, there has to be something that happens for more whales to come, right? No pun intended. Okay, so February, I had my birthday. Yay, right? Turned 50. Didn't really have a party, just kind of hung out, but I definitely got shredded by 50. Thank you, Certified Health Nut, for giving me the idea to want to be healthy again. At 48, I started that progression. 49, I did a competition. 50, I did another competition. I got first in my age group, the old man age group. Not the elderly man, but the old man age group. I'm not quite at the elderly one yet. I did get I did get a note from Stephen Piercy from RAT, which was very cool. I'm going to try not to say so much on this podcast. Just amazing. We did there I did it again. So the birthday was fun. I was so glad. Here's the thing. You're listening to this in December. You may be listening to it in January. Depends whenever you're bored and run around doing house stuff. I have no love towards the end of the year sort of thing. Like, I don't make a big deal out of it. It's just kind of like another year. My year starts on my birthday because that's just another year that I have physically been on this earth. And by doing that, that becomes like my New Year's. So February 3rd, before February 4th, is like my New Year's. And it's a very weird time. And now as I get older, I try not to celebrate so much the fact that I'm getting older. I just try to celebrate the fact that I'm still alive. So 50 was a big deal for me, but now that I'm in my 50s and I had close to my first year in my 50s, I feel like it was one of the greatest years ever. And yes, I can say that now because I'm in the moment and I feel great and I understand that. But as far as all the things that I did and all the not having inflammation, not being tired, being on a schedule, I'm a big schedule person if you know me, it's all made a world of difference. And it's really helped me come into my own at this progression and watching my kids grow and all those good things. So that's really helped me. Now, I also do want to say that the Pentagon stated that there was no evidence for UFOs in March. I don't know if UFOs are real or not. But I will tell you that there's something out there, whether it's drones, whether it's rocket missiles, whether it's spaceships, there's something out there. And one of these days, I think in my lifetime, we're going to find out for sure. I was still driving a Porsche in 2024 until I wasn't. I did feel like let's just say, Scottsdale pretty person that drove around in a very expensive car that gave me no joy after the first 3 months. Again, we can still make mistakes when we're old. And maybe that was a mistake, maybe not. Maybe it was just something that I felt like I earned and then I just didn't feel like I needed it, right? So as I get older, I also realize that going into life's progression, and right now, like this week, if you're listening to this, it's the day after Christmas. Right now I'm recording it. I'll release it later. This week is such a great week to cleanse the body, the mind, the soul, but the materialistic stuff that we hold on to. So I'm in all these different closets. I'm trying to get 20 bins down to 10 bins. You know what I'm saying? And it's like giving stuff away. And now what's so funny is I laugh when old people, being my parents now who are old, when they give shit away to you that they no longer want. I'm starting to do that. So my kids come over and I just like, hey, do you want this? Do you want? And they don't want the stuff. It's just so much better off at Goodwill at times. Now there are some cool stuff, some family heirlooms and stuff like that I think that they do want. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of kids, both my kids did great. One turned 20. The other one this year turned 23. The 23-year-old graduated with a a plant degree, I can't even name his degree because it was so complicated and probably useless, but that's okay. I paid for it and he graduated with a degree from U of A, and now he's doing web design. Absolutely amazing how that happens. But we're proud. We got a college graduate. The second kid should graduate in the next 10 years, maybe sooner. No, he's a smart kid. So working on that. In April, Florida hit 23 million people. 23 million people. You imagine that? I think Arizona's 9 million maybe less, 6 million. Think about that. 23 million people all got to get along and do stuff. And that is only the third populous state. Can you guess the other two? I believe it's California and Texas. That would be my guess, but I'm not sure. I don't have the facts on that. So that is another fun fact that had happened. The Built Different Mastermind, as I was talking to you before, took off this year. We're a year into it. We have some great serial killer, amazing business owners that have done so well. We're so excited to have them continue on to the next year to help build their business and to work with them and to personally get to know them. Most everybody flew out, and I've met them all personally because most of them are from out of state, and it was great to get to know them and get to know how they work and who they are as people. We had a lot of fun with that. And we're still we're just getting started with that, which is great. Absolute fun people, good people, and people building a business like what I've done. And I'm so glad and happy that I'm able to share that. Held some healing hospitality events. We did a flower essence event at the Flower Essence Place. We did, what else did we do? We did a meditation with sound and music and vibes. So we're going to continue on with that. Like I said, we did a lot of, for the first time in my life, I took trips up to the tiny home, which was great. We enjoy a place up there called Eva's. Eva's is a Mexican restaurant. Jesus taco about it, taco about Jesus is the window, is the glass when you walk in to go. She's very, very religious lady, very, very, loves Jesus. There's Jesus all over the restaurant. I do feel like Jesus is watching me eat tacos, meaning that if I eat a lot of tacos, it's okay because Jesus is there. So we love Eva's up there. If you get a chance up in, I want to say it's close to Taylor. What is the name of the town? Anyways, it's called Eva's. La Cocina de Eva's. Great place. I eat way too much when I go there. She has great pie, too. What else happened? Let's see. Oh, the Dow Jones hit 40,000. 40,000. You remember the days it was only 10,000? I don't know what any or all of that means. It just means that the dollar probably is getting cheapened and we all have to work harder and make more money. But, hey, why not? What else do we have to do, right? So the Dow Jones hit an all-time high of 40,000. And I think now it's at 43, 44. It's even crawled up even higher. So that happened. Dick Van Dyke, you know that dude? He's 98. I think he's 99 now. He won a Daytime Emmy at 98 years old. Again, it just shows that age means nothing. It's just a physical appearance at this point. And as I get older and I start to see, stuff happen, I take a lot of inventory of my own physical body because, as my wife would say, I'm so in love with myself. And she's absolutely right. I do love myself. It's a very interesting place to be in life. But I love her just as much, if not more. So Dick Van Dyke, 98 years old, still working, still doing his stuff. And on top of that, do you remember when you were a kid, do you remember watching The Wheel of Fortune? You remember Pat Sajak? Pat Sajak. And Vanna White's still there, but good old Pat, after 43 years he quit. Now, I was talking about Bill Belichick in the NFL. This is a game show host. 43 years had the same job. How crazy is that? The same job for 43 years. So good old Pat retired. Hopefully he's doing well in retirement, because I know that we all really care about that. The Mirage in Vegas in July closed after 34 years of being open. So if you all have gone to Vegas, I know you've gone to the Mirage. I want to say that was the Excalibur where that was at. I want to say the Mirage was where I saw Madonna. Yes. I used to work for Maverick Records, which was Madonna's record label, and we got tickets to go see Madonna when she performed there. This had to be 22 years ago or something like that. Isn't that crazy? So bigger and better things, I am sure, coming for that. But there you have it. A little sip of water. So we have a thing called summer here in Arizona. It starts in April, ends in November. Phoenix reaches a 100-degree high for the 100th consecutive day on September 3rd. That is just nuts, right? But I have to tell you from my recollection, I felt like it was one of the mildest summers because it wasn't overly hot, like 120 all the time. It was just, steadily hot consistently for a while. So that was an interesting fact that it happened this year as well. And during that time, while I was sweating, I was writing a book called Reignite Your Spark. That's right. And started that book, started some courses, did my first book ever. November 1st, we had a book release party, which I know if you follow me, you've seen the video, you've heard about it. That was fun. I plan on writing another book next year, more in the regards of insurance and insurance claims, stuff like that, bringing in specialists, doing some fun stuff. I'm always on let's just say, the aspect of creativity and being creative all the time and developing things because there's really nothing else to do. I just enjoy it so much. So that was a big thing for this year was the book and the book signing, and we're still promoting it through the context of the year. So if you see a link below, buy the book, Reignite Your Spark, just getting started. We are just getting started. Went and saw Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar did a tribute to my favorite, Eddie Van Halen. That, let's see. No, that was not the one. All right, so Eddie Van Halen passed away in 2020 of October. I believe it was October 6th. I was very sad about that. I did get to work for Van Halen back in my music days. I had a lot of fun, and unfortunately, Eddie had passed. So they did a tribute concert, 4 years later, 3.5 years later. And it was cool. I went there. I had a good time. I had front row seats. Brought my friend Jonathan. He was like, "Whoa, front row! Never sat front row before." So that was a good experience. I got to fly out, see my mom twice in Austin, Texas. That was great. So moral of that story: go see your parents if they're out of state. Go. You never get that time back. Enjoy them while they can still do things with you, which is a lot of fun. And let's see, October 13th, SpaceX, remember that big ship that flew up? Actually got caught by mechanical arms. How crazy is that? I mean, just to think that we're in a time and age right now where a rocket can be shot into space, be brought back down to Earth, and be caught by two metal arms. Just nuts. So in the 70s when I'm watching Star Wars, I'm kind of like, is that really something that could ever happen? It's happening. It's like happening in front of our eyes. We don't even realize all the stuff that's happening right now, but it's cool. This is not one of these podcasts where I get too much into theories of stuff like ancient archivals, because I'm not that intelligent to really talk about all those sorts of things, but I would love to have somebody on here and kind of talk about those things because I'm just so into it. I watch a lot of and I don't even know if they're real. I mean, I could be just the idiot that watches this stuff, but I love watching people dig for artifacts and find stuff. One of the shows that I know wasn't real, it was like Snake Island or some shit like that. I ended up doing some Googling, and the guy's like, yeah, it's totally fake. They like planted these. I was just like so bummed out. Like, come on, man. So be careful the TV you watch. November 21st. This is a good one. So for those of you that like art, if you like art that you hang up on your wall and do stuff, there was a banana that was it was a banana taped to with duct tape. It was taped to a wall, and guess what that sold for? Just guess. I'm going to give you a second. Yep. No. 6.2 million. Yes, in New York. In New York, do you know what 6.2 million could buy? A banana with duct tape on it. That's right. Absolutely nuts. December 19th, Paul McCartney. Let's talk about music. So Paul McCartney brings Ringo Starr on stage for the Got Back tour. They wrap it up with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart and Helter Skelter. So the two Beatles on stage hasn't happened long time. That's really cool. Aerosmith has to cancel their tour because Steven Tyler, who is young, like in his 70s, come on, dude, you're not 98 like Dick Van Dyke, but his vocals are hurting, so they had to cancel their tour. I was looking forward to that. I loved the Black Crowes who open up we're going to open up on that tour. But Aerosmith's one of my favorites as a kid, and then also being able to work for them. I'm going to show some pictures of me and Joe Perry and some of the other guys when I got to work with the band. Just the nicest guys. A lot of fun. And, you know, I'd be remiss without saying that as I get older, I start to see death a lot more. And I'm starting to understand that death is not, it's a sad thing because of the moment and the humanness that we live in here. I get it. I'm still sad and will be sad by it. But it's also a time to rejoice and understand and have faith that wherever those souls have gone, they're living their ultimate life. And for whatever reasoning, they were taken from this dimension early to go live and to take part in another dimension. So, shout out to Robin Reed, very good friend of mine, miss and love him. Will Yaton, the Cootie Patah, the Tao Ra. He was my mentor, friend of mine since I was 17 years old. He just was one of the greatest guys and a brother to me. Kimberly Rollins, who we just lost a couple weeks ago, along with Will. And then my friend Chris Oz, who I didn't really get to talk about, but he was in the food industry as well. Chris and I were very close friends. We lost him in the end of 23. And I miss all of these people greatly, and I know there's others that I just can't think of right now. But, you know, it's one of those things where I'm just... I'm sad, but their memories live on, and I'm grateful for the time that I did get to spend with them. So other than that, you know, as we plow into 2025, just making sure that we feel the love with each other, be good to each other, have fun with each other, take time with each other, understand each other, understand yourself, where you're going, what you're doing. I'm excited to launch the podcast. Again, thank you for listening. Please share this. Please subscribe. And really, this was a bunch of nonsense for 20 minutes that I just wanted, you know, for you to take me on a walk and just have a conversation about 2024. Cheers to everybody. Bless you all. And until next time, peace out.